All right. We're doing the mid-year freakout. It's July, but it's fine. We're doing the mid-year freakout. Hi, friends. I look crazy as always. I've got this 3XL fucking House of a Thousand Corpses shirt on. Pimples everywhere. We're fine. We're doing great. I know it's July, and most people do this in June. But my June was insane, and I still really want to do this, so we're doing the mid-year freakout in July. Because I have read a lot of interesting books in the first half of this year, so I want to talk about them. So that's what we're gonna do. I did just recently watch a Clockwork Readers version of this, and I know that she, I guess, adds some different like questions in about like books that she didn't like. I think she also did TV shows and movies in hers. I have watched a good amount of like TV and movies this year, but not enough that I feel like I can like add them into this. I feel like the most I've been watching is like Dimension 20 stuff, so, and that's all great. So that would all just be in the like, this is great category. But yeah, so we're gonna do the mid-year freakout with all of the books that I've read. I think I've read 50 something books so far this year. I'm having like a bit of a slump, but that's fine. Like I said, June was crazy, and I didn't do as much reading as I wanted to, but I've read so many books already this year that it feels like it's the end of the year. Like I feel like I've read the amount of books that I think my Fable goal, my reading goal on Fable was like 50 books. So I'm like, we did it. We're fine. I'm still gonna keep reading, but that was a lot. That was a lot for the first 6 months. Starting off strong. The best book that I read this year. I have two for this. Kind of, one of them is also in a different category, but I did want to mention it in this because it was just so good. But the first book in this category was The Night Circus. I finally read The Night Circus. Oh my god, I am so I have like no words for it. I read it while we were on vacation in Ireland. I read it on, like, I started reading it on the plane there, sort of read it as much as I could while we were there. Obviously, I didn't have a ton of downtime because we were doing a lot of traveling. And then I finished it on the plane ride back, and the poor woman next to me, I was like sobbing the whole time. I was like, oh my god, like this book is so beautiful. And I was like not feeling well from like traveling. I was like coughing and stuff. She's like, do you want some cough drops? It was she was a very lovely lady. Shout out her. But oh my god, that book destroyed me. And as the plane was landing, I was like 20 pages, 15 pages from the end, and I'm like, I need to finish. And Ariana and I are like running to go get our bags. I was like, I love you so much. I need you to like, she's like, no, go finish your book. It's fine. And I'm like sitting on the floor, just like as she's getting our bags, and I'm just like, like it was so good. I don't know why I waited so long to read that book. So many people have told me, specifically my friend Julia has been like, why have you not read this book? Like, you loved A Starless Sea. Like, why have you not read this book? You need to read this. And I'm so happy I finally did. And I immediately texted her once I finished it, and I was like, bitch, why did I wait so long? And she's like, yeah, I know, I've been telling you this. That was like my real answer, but my honorary mention for the best book I've read this year was Model Home, which, if you don't know what Model Home is, oh my god, please go read it. It is so amazing. It is about this family who moves into this like little cul-de-sac suburby. I don't know. I don't know what the difference between like a cul-de-sac and like a suburb. I think they're the same thing. I don't really know. I grew up in the middle of nowhere. Sorry. So they live in this like housing development, right? That's the same thing. So they live in this like housing development, and they end up like living in the model home, so like the home that they show people when they like go to tour the neighborhood. And it is important to note that the family, the main like family that you're following through this, is the only black family in this very, very white suburban neighborhood in, I believe it's in Texas. And the main character is also queer. They are non-binary or gender non-conforming. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if they specify which one is which, but they use they, them pronouns. And it's a horror novel, but like it's like a haunted house story, but not in the like traditional way. Oh my god, like I don't want to say too much about it because it's so good. All you need to know is that this book destroyed me. And the first line of it is something like, my mother is God, so maybe that's why I can never please her, or something like that. It's like my manager at work was reading it, and she's like, you need to read this. Like, I need you to read this. She showed me the first line of it, and I was like, what the fuck, dog? Like, and so I rented it from the library, and it broke me. It fucking broke me, and it was so good. So that one is my honorable mention for my favorite book as well. Next up is the worst book I've read this year, and that one easily goes to God of Malice. But who fucking wrote that? Rita Kent. This piece of garbage. Like, oh my god. If you don't know, God bless. I'm so happy for you that you've never interacted with this piece of media. Because what the fuck was that? What was that book? Like, don't get me wrong, I think a spicy romance is great. I love Chef's Kiss. We love a little bit of smut. This was not dark romance. This was a straight up horror. Trigger warning, like I'm not going to go into any like crazy details, but the whole first chapter is just a sexual assault scene. And then the main female protagonist goes and falls in love with the man who sexually assaulted her. And it's like, who am I supposed to be rooting for in this? So like, the reason that I read this book was, so my friend Dan and I, hi Dan, love you. We are doing like a book exchange every month this year. Like we pick a theme and then we like surprise each other with a book. And our theme for February was romance, was like a romance novel. I think we specifically did like dark romance. And they sent this one just not knowing anything about it. They were like, oh, I've heard about it on TikTok. And then they ended up sending like, they sent 2 books that month because they were like, well, I really like this one. They sent me like a different one that I actually ended up really enjoying. And they were like, oh, I like this one, but then I also heard stuff about this one, so I wanted to send this as well and like see if you liked it. And then we both just ended up reading it. Like they got themselves a copy as well. And I was like reading it on my way to work one day, and I was like, I open up and I start reading the first chapter, and I was like, uh-oh. Clearly this can't be the main male, like this guy can't be the love interest. Clearly this man is the villain that the love interest is saving her from. Oh no. No. She falls in love with him, and oh my god, like I cannot express to you how god awful this book, and the only reason that I finished it was out of sheer curiosity, sheer morbid curiosity of, is this girl going to end up with her, like, her abuser? Like, that is what this man is. And like, I went on, I think I was still using Goodreads at the time, I went on Goodreads to like leave my review and be like, what the fuck was this? This was insane. And everybody was like, oh my god, I loved this book, blah, blah, blah. Get help! Go to therapy! Oh my god, like I never am gonna be the type of person to like judge someone for what they're reading. If you like your shit, read your shit. That's great. I think that that's wonderful, and there's something out there for everyone. I truly believe that. This, however, no one should read this. This is, hi Grimmy, I know you can feel me getting very angry. Oh my god, like if you read this book and you genuinely enjoyed it and you thought that this was a romance, I'm begging you to seek help. Like, I'm not even joking. I've talked about this for too long. I need to move on. I do also have, again, a honorable mention of the worst book that I've read this year. It wasn't like the worst, I just didn't particularly enjoy this book, and I was really interested in the plot of it. I had read Horror Movie earlier this year and really enjoyed that, and this seemed like very similar to that because it was all about like a horror movie and then like the remaking of this horror movie. It was called The Remaking, by the way. And the premise of it seemed really cool and I was like really excited for it. But the whole point of the book, the whole message of the book was completely void because the author was a man. The whole, like, spoiler a little bit, like in case you decide to read this book, don't like, you know, listen to what I'm gonna say. The whole point of the book was like these women's story should not be told like by men. Like they just kept remaking this horror movie over and over and over again about this mother and daughter who were witches. And the like movies, things kept going wrong because it was men who were trying to tell these women's stories. And that, at least to me, that was what I got out of it, was men shouldn't be telling women's stories, like let women tell their own stories. So why was this written by a man? Why was this book written by a man? Like the whole message is completely void because of that. So that was my kind of like special mention again for the worst book that I read, because obviously this was the fucking worst. This was so bad. Like I will never be over how fucking terrible this book was. Like, ugh. And my poor friend felt so bad for like buying this book for me. They were like, I'm so sorry, like you can throw it away, like you do not have to read it. I was like, babe, I'm fine. Like I'm shocked and horrified, but like I'm okay to like I can like read this or skim through parts that like aren't comfortable, whatever. But like, oh my god, I like texted them. I was like, hey, just a heads up, I don't know if you started reading this book or not, but this is how it starts. And they were like, no. So, hey, don't read God of Malice, by the way. Just don't read it. Just save yourself the time. Don't fucking read it. It's really bad. It's so bad. I need some coffee. God, I feel like I look so pale. I know I am so pale, but I feel like I look really, really pale right now. So the next question on this list is, what is the best sequel that you've read this year? I haven't read a ton of sequels this year. This one actually might be the only, no, it's not the only sequel that I've read this year, but it certainly is the best. Even if it was the only one, it's certainly the best. And it's technically a prequel, but that is Bookshops and Bone Dust, which is the prequel to Legends and Lattes. I couldn't remember what the first one was called. It was the prequel to Legends and Lattes, and oh my god, I loved this book. I love just like a low stakes, comfy, cozy little fantasy. It was so good. It was sapphic. It was like everything that I could have wanted from a prequel slash sequel to Legends and Lattes, because I loved Legends and Lattes when I read it, and this made me want to like read it again. It was so cute. It was so cute, and I love just that whole universe. And like I would be happy if that author just kept, was it Travis Baldree? Yeah, Travis Baldree. I would be so happy if you just kept writing in that universe and nothing else. I would be so happy for the rest of my days. Like I will read just nothing but domestic fluff of these characters, like until the day I die. It is so cute, and it's such a sweet little story, and I'm so happy. And if you haven't read that series, and if you are a fantasy lover, I highly recommend. It's so much fun. I loved that story a lot. Next on the list is a new release that you haven't read but want to, and obviously my only answer for this is Sunrise on the Reaping. I need to read the book so bad. I need to read this book so very badly, but I'm so scared that it is just going to devastate me emotionally. Like I read a book earlier this year. I read an Ava Reid book that was called Fable for the End of the World. And it very much gave like Hunger Games vibes, and it destroyed me. And I was like, I need to read some other things before I venture into Sunrise on the Reaping, because this was too much for me and I'm broken. Like in the very best way. It was such a good book. I love Ava Reid. I will read anything that she writes. But dear God, I was like, I need to read some happy things, or at least just something else, like some other genre that's not like dystopian heartbreak before I read Sunrise on the Reaping. So I'm currently like in the middle of 2 books right now, so I will probably reread The Hunger Games because I've been meaning to do that for years. I haven't read The Hunger Games probably since I was in middle school, so I really have been wanting to reread those. And I think now is the perfect time, and I'll reread the original trilogy. I'll probably reread A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and then I'll finally read Sunrise on the Reaping, and I'm really nervous. I'm really nervous because I've just seen, again, I watched, I didn't watch her video, but I saw that A Clockwork Reader made a video about reading Sunrise on the Reaping, and it's just her sobbing, and I was like, great, so this is gonna destroy me. So I'm very scared to read that, but also incredibly excited because I love Haymitch. I love Haymitch so much. So I'm very excited to like see his story and read more about that. And it is so hard to avoid spoilers right now. Like I keep seeing the one line that everybody has been quoting and I can't remember it now, which great, maybe I'll forget it and maybe I won't see it again until I read the book, so it'll like properly destroy me. Good. Okay, good. I can't remember it now, so that's great and it's wonderful. But I did keep seeing it and I was like, fuck, like I don't know what this means, but I need to read the book. The next question is, what is your most anticipated release for the second half of the year? I don't have a ton. I feel like because I'm trying to do like low buy this year, which if you saw my last video of me hauling a bunch of books from my trip to Ireland is going really well. No, but I'm trying to do low buy this year when it comes to books. So my kind of rule for myself is like, unless it is a like something that I've been anticipating for a while and really want to read, or it is like a continuation of a series that I'm in the middle of, I'm trying not to buy books, especially not new. I usually will just buy like secondhand if I see a book that I've been wanting to read. Like if I'm at the thrift store and I so happen to see something, I will buy that, but I'm definitely trying not to buy a ton this year. I'm trying to like utilize my library a little bit more and just read the books that I have because my physical TBR is fucking insane. I need to really like get through a lot of my books that I have on my shelves before I try to buy anything new. However, that super long-winded rant aside, my most anticipated release for the second half of the year is the 9th volume of Lore Olympus. Once again, my friend Dan and I doing our book exchange, one of our months, the theme was stories based on other stories, and they sent me the first volume of Lore Olympus, and oh, I fell in love with it all over again. Because I read the webtoon years ago. I read it like probably back in 2021. Like it was like when I first moved to Philly. Like I remember I was living like in my old apartment when I first moved to Philly, and I like just was so obsessed with it. But obviously it wasn't finished at the time, and so I just kind of like forgot about it. And I was like, you know what? I think the physical series, like the published series, is gonna be finished soon. I'll just like when the whole series is done, I'll read the whole series because I'm like, I don't want to have to like wait. Like I just want to know what's gonna happen. And then Dan bought me the first one and I just completely fell down a rabbit hole of reading. They sent me the first one and then I was halfway through that and I immediately like went online like on the website for my local library and was like, I need to get the rest of the series. So I checked out every single book in the series and then just read every single book that is currently out right now. And so I know that I think I've only read 1 through 7. I know that 8 just recently came out or is about to come out. And 9 is coming out, I believe, in November. So I'm very, very excited for that. That's kind of the only release that I can think of that I'm like really, really anticipating. Even besides the point of like my, low buy, I feel like unless it's like a book that I'm super, super hyped about, like I remember last year I was like really excited for Lady Macbeth to come out. Like other than like books like that, when it's authors that I know that I love, or like with Sunrise on the Reaping, like a series that I know that I love, I feel like I kind of just find books as I go and I'm like, this looks interesting. Like I'm very much like a judge a book by its cover kind of gal. And I go to the store and I'm just like, this looks really cool. I'm going to pick this up. Or like friends will tell me to read something and that's kind of that's kind of how I judge what I want to read next. All right, so the sixth, I think this is the sixth one. I don't know, whatever. The next one is, what was your biggest disappointment this year? And I feel like, aside from just like really bad books, really bad books that I mentioned earlier, I think my biggest disappointment was Can't Spell Treason Without Tea. Just because I was like really looking forward to it. Because like I said earlier, I really loved the Legends and Lattes universe, and I really thought that this was going to be like a lot like that, like a low stakes sapphic fantasy that was like really fun and cutesy. And it was fine. It wasn't anything fantastic that I like felt the need to like keep reading this series, because I know that there are more books in this series. It just didn't really do it for me. It just made me want to reread Legends and Lattes, because it was just like, in my opinion, the better version of that. I don't know. It was good and it was fine. I just didn't love it the way that I thought that I was going to. So that was kind of like my biggest disappointment, I guess. And then next, the biggest surprise. Biggest surprise for me, honestly, was another book from my book exchange with Dan. But this was one that I bought for them and then ended up getting for myself, because I was like, well, I want to see what this is. Like, I gotta see what this story is about. And that story was kept in the dark, which is a dark romance where the main love interest, like male protagonist, whatever, just wears a ghost face mask the whole time. It's so good. Okay, I don't care. It was like, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I thought it was great. The ending was really weird, and it ended up being like a weird, like, she has like, spoilers. Sorry to spoil the smut for you. They like get pregnant and like get married and have a bunch of babies, and I was like, this feels unnecessary. But maybe that's just me, because like I'm not like a kids person. Like, I don't want kids, so maybe to me I was just like, I don't know, what the fuck. But I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed my time reading it. I like knew that it was gonna be like, I feel like when I go into smut books, especially like popular TikTok smut books, I'm usually like, this is gonna like do the job that it needs to, but like it's not gonna be much. I was hooked. I was hooked on this story. When I tell y'all, I was just, and it's like a really short book, so I think I got through it in like one night, and I was like, just kept going. I was like, oh my god, I need to know what happens next. I like didn't even care about the smut at that point. I was like, I just need to know what's going on. I mean, I kind of guessed what was happening, and I like, it was very clockable, but I still had a really great time. So that one definitely surprised me of how much I actually really enjoyed it. That was a really great book. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to read. I love a good smut every once in a while. So the next question was, who was your new favorite author from this year? I feel like I didn't read a ton of new authors. My all-time favorite is always going to be, like, my newest favorite recently has been Ava Reid. However, I did read 3 books by Tim Wagner this year that I really, really loved. And that was the book adaptation of the X movies. Like, look how fun these covers are. They're so good. They're so good. I really, really enjoyed all of these books. I saw the novel version of X when I think I was home visiting my mom for Christmas, and I saw this at Barnes & Noble, and I was like, oh shit, I didn't know that X was a book. And it wasn't first, it was a movie first, and then they made it into a book, which was really cool, and I really love when movie franchises do that. I think that that's really fun and a great way to expand on the universe, and I think that it's a really cool thing to do. And I really, really loved the way that Tim Wagner wrote this movie, like, because one of my main problems, I love the X universe. I think that it's so great. I think that it, like, Mia Goth is fucking incredible, and I love those movies. I think that they're really, really wonderful. But my main problem with the first movie was just how taboo they made the idea of this old couple having sex. And like, I know that they are supposed to be the villains, I know that we're supposed to not like them, What I don't like is the idea of their age being used as like a gross out factor. And I've talked about this with friends before who have felt the same way of like, it didn't do anything for me. It just felt very like reachy and very like, ooh, we're all gonna get old someday. Like, yeah, no shit, buddy. Like, so that was like my one complaint that I had with the movie. So I really liked in the book that he kind of expanded on that in a way that he didn't use that as like a gross out factor. He kind of got into it in a different way, which I like won't go into just in case anybody decides to read these, which I highly recommend because they were really, really good. But it was really nice to like see that, because I believe in parts of it we do get like Pearl's point of view. And so it was really cool to see that he kind of took that in a different direction, especially since, like I said, that was like one of my gripes that I had with the actual movie. And then we also get different like kind of stories during this of like parts that like weren't in the movie, things that like we didn't see. And same with Pearl and Maxine, you get like different plot lines and different like side things that are going on that you kind of don't get within the movie, which I thought was just really cool. And like I said, I love when movies do that and they kind of like expand on the universe in the form of a book, especially if you're someone like me who, when you really like a piece of media and you want to consume something that's exactly like it, it's really great when it's also in book form. So these were definitely really great, and I really loved the way that Tim Wagner writes, so he is for sure a new favorite author of mine. I know he has also written, I think he did the novelization of Terrifier 2, which I think is really funny. Nobody did like a Terrifier 1 novelization, which is like fine, but I don't know, I think it's kind of random to just do like only Terrifier 2, and I believe he also wrote like a Halloween novelization. I don't know. And he also, I saw this book and like recognized the name, and I was like, oh, I have a Supernatural novelization that was written by him that I've had sitting on my shelf since probably college and haven't read. So I'm like, maybe I'll have to read that. Maybe I'll have to give that a shot since I really loved his writing so much. The lighting is starting to get normal, so I'm starting to look a little bit less crazy, I think. I don't know. You be the judge. Anyway, the next one is, who is your newest fictional crush? Not really new. I feel like I don't really get fictional crushes in books as much as I do, because I feel like I read a lot of like horror, so I'm not really crushing on that many of them. But I really, really loved the version of Carmilla that was in Hungerstone. And I love Carmilla. Like, since I read the book, she has been my fictional crush as well. I love a little sapphic vampire moment. But this version of Carmilla in Hungerstone, oh my god, like hold on, I have my book in front of me because I don't know if you can even see, how much I tabbed in this book. There are just so many things that woman says, and oh my god. So the main character in Hungerstone that Carmilla is thirsting after, anyway. Why did I say that? Anyway, so the character who is Carmilla's love interest is Lenore. And at one point she tells her, "You are a song, Lenore. Harmony and discord. I am learning to sing it." Are you fucking kidding me? If someone said that to me, I would simply pass away. I would simply cease to exist. Just so many things in this book and this version of Carmilla were just so beautiful and so well done. So that is my answer. Carmilla is my newest fictional crush. I think this just kind of solidified that she has been my fictional crush for a minute now. Number 10 is one that I did talk about a little bit earlier, so I won't go into it as much, but a book that made me cry was Model Home. Oh, like I said, I already talked about it, so I'm not going to go into it all over again, but holy shit, read this book. It was so good. It made me ugly cry. It was just so heartbreaking in like the absolute best way possible. And then on the flip side of that, a book that made you happy. My choice for this was really hard because I did read a lot of like, not heartwarming books this year, but I did read a lot of books that did make me feel very good. But the one that I think I really, really enjoyed the most, and the one that like made me the happiest, was Most Ardently, which, if you don't know, is a Pride and Prejudice remix. And the main thing that's different from the original Pride and Prejudice is that Elizabeth Bennet in this version is Oliver Bennet, and he is a trans man, but they still have the romance between Darcy and Oliver, and it's done so well. It was so, if anybody has read A Lady for a Duke, I was obsessed with that book. That was like, genuinely has become one of my favorite romance books of all time. I'm also just such a slut for anything Regency, but the fact that like it also had like a trans main character, there was like queer representation, it was just so beautiful and so well done. This book gives those vibes as well. It's so good. So if you liked A Lady for a Duke, definitely read Most Ardently. Even if you haven't read A Lady for a Duke and you love Pride and Prejudice and you are a queer person who just loves anything like Regency romance-esque, oh my god, read Most Ardently. It was so beautiful. It was so well done. Obviously, trigger warning, there are people in Oliver's life who dead name him, who use the wrong pronouns, who, you know, because of the time, don't know who he truly is. But I will say that there is a happy ending and it is beautiful, and I love that story so much. And I was so happy when I found out that there was like this different version of it, because I love Pride and Prejudice. It is like one of my favorite stories of all time. And having this little like different queer version of it was like really, really cute and a really fun read. This next one, I wasn't really sure how to interpret it. This one is the most beautiful book that you've bought this year. Yeah, the most beautiful book you've bought so far this year. And I'm assuming that it means like look-wise and not like plot-wise. So I'm gonna just go with look-wise what the most beautiful book that I bought this year is. Like I said, I am kind of on a low buy, so I haven't bought a ton of books this year. However, without a doubt, no matter how many books I bought this year, this is the most beautiful book that I have bought this year. And it is this copy of Dubliners that I got while I was in Dublin. And it is just so cute. It's this like cloth bound, like painted on with this like gold foil. It's just so pretty. And I read Dubliners when I was 17, and I have been meaning to reread it. So when I saw this copy, I was like, oh good, I can reread it in this really pretty copy. And so I knew that I had to pick this up, and yeah, I'm very, very happy that I did. They had a bunch of other books bound like this one, of like James Joyce novels. Like they had Ulysses that was bound in this like really pretty way. And I am not brave enough to read Ulysses, at least not at this current moment. So I didn't buy that one, but I did get Dubliners, so I'm very happy that I bought this one. This is absolutely the prettiest book that I bought this year. And then last on the list is, what books do you still need to read for this year? This list is so long, but the main ones that I'm hoping to read, at least in the near future, like I said earlier, really, really want to read Sunrise on the Reaping. So that is definitely high up there on that list. Yeah, that is all of the questions, I think. This was really fun, and I love doing these like little tag videos. I just have read a lot this year, and it's it's only July, and that's crazy to me that I've already read 50 books. I need to like fucking take a chill pill. I think because I'm not in school anymore and I like have free time, I'm like, so that is all, that is the end of that tag. However, like I said last time, I'm going to start ending these with my currently reading, currently watching, and currently listening to. So I will do that, and then we're out of here, gang. What I am currently reading, I'm actually currently reading 2 books. I started, they're literally right next to me, because guess what I'm going to do after this? go and read these. I started Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil, which has just been gorgeous. This is my first time reading V.E. Schwab, and I am not disappointed at all. I have been meaning to read her writing. I've had The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue on my list for a while, but again, shout out Dan. This was our June pick. This is the one that they sent me, and I'm not super far in. Like I said, I've been in a bit of a slump, so I'm only about that far in right now, but I am really enjoying it so far. It's Sapphic Vampires. How many times have I talked about Sapphic Vampires in this video? Take a shot every time. Take one for me, because I'm sober. So, so I'm reading that one. And then I recently rewatched Howl's Moving Castle for like the millionth time and was like, I should reread that book. So I did start rereading Howl's Moving Castle, just to kind of like, because this Bury Our Bones is like quite heavy sometimes. So I needed something a little light, like in between that, to just kind of like, I want to read something, but that feels like a lot right now emotionally. So I've just been kind of going back and forth between the two of these. I'm not really currently watching much. I'm just, I haven't really been in like a TV mood. I did rewatch Brooklyn Nine-Nine like a couple weeks ago and finished that. But the last movie that I watched, I think, was Howl's Moving Castle. So I guess that's what I'm currently watching. I watched Howl's Moving Castle, and I'm going to see Death Becomes Her in the cemetery. They're doing a movie night near me in the cemetery of Death Becomes Her. So I'm currently watching those two things. And then what I'm currently listening to, I haven't really had like a specific album that I've been listening to the way that I was with like The Crux when that came out, but I have on repeat. I like went on my Spotify, like, oh my god, the sun is crazy right now. All right, so the sun decided it just wants to be like really insane as I'm finishing this. But anyway, what I've been currently listening to, I went on my Spotify and like looked at my like on repeat playlist, and the number one song right now is My Funeral, My Party by Horror Vacui. I really love that song. It's really fun. I'm a big fan of like Sepor Aeternus, and this gives like kind of Sepor Aeternus vibes, but if they were a little like, I don't know, if they were a little more like, if The Cure and Sepor Aeternus kind of like had a baby, that's how I would describe like this song at least. Oh my god, the sun is insane right now. I look crazy. Anyway, that's it, because the sun has decided this is over, so there you have it. Bye, friends!